Welcome back, Saints. I'm Cody Strait, and this is SFHS Today. In world news, NPR reported that even disaster veterans are stunned by the devastation caused by two hurricanes in November. Two Category 4 hurricanes, Eta and Iota, hit Central America, and they continue to dig out from mudslides across the continent. However, Honduras suffered the most deaths from landslides and flooding. In national news, beyond the Electoral College sealing the presidency for Joe Biden and other COVID-19 vaccine, over 45 million people are under a winter storm watch on the East Coast. According to CNN, the storm was forecast to bring heavy ice and power outages earlier this week. In local news, as the high school moved to distance learning, administration came up with creative ways to distribute textbooks from this trimester and collect the books from Try 1. Additional times were added, including tomorrow, Friday, December 18th from 3 to 5 p.m. Haley Turner got more on the story.
Now, with the book supplies, is it going to be efficient and easy to go through?
That is a great question, and we're actually figuring that out right now. But our teachers have done an excellent job of organizing. As you can see through the video, we got books marked, we have packets marked, and we're hoping that it's going to be a smooth transition. And the teachers have communicated with the students what they need to pick up, and as the first kind of go around, we'll find out today how it goes.
And is supplies going to be easy to drop off as well?
Oh, that's the easy part, yeah, because all they got to do is come to door 10, drop off their materials with their name in it, and then we'll organize it after.
Is there a time frame that we have to be able to pick up our stuff?
Well, tomorrow is like the last official, but looks like we're gonna have another pickup at some point.
As we begin trimester 2 in distance learning mode, a committee of teachers at SFHS have made some recommendations for student success. Reporter Spencer White and I went out and got the scoop on how to stay on task during distance learning. For everyone struggling with distance learning, I have some good tips for you guys to get started. Tip number 1, make sure you're logging in on time and checking what you got to do for the day. Tip number 2, if you're falling behind, don't forget to ask a teacher. They're always here to help. Better treat this distance learning just like a regular school year. Get your alarm set, get out of bed, and get ready for the school day. Last trimester ended with the second ever virtual art show by students in the SFHS art program. Last spring, we spoke with art teacher Deb McQuay and Jen Close about how they created this concept and the challenges of teaching such a hands-on class virtually. This fall, the art classes continued to create outstanding work. Here is more of the story with reporter Tyson Burwald, who is also a student who participated in the art show.
Oh, hi Saints. I didn't see you there. Last spring when quarantine hit, art classes got a little messed up. Each year there's an art show in the IMC, but because of the quarantine, the art show had to be held virtually. It also had to be held virtually again this year. Here's Jennifer Close and Deborah McQuay with more information on how the art show went last year.
Well, early on in the trimester, we were kind of having conversations with Mr. Austin, and he was really kind of pretty adamant that we tried to stick to our standards that students are supposed to meet for a high school level course. So there is a very specific standard, like in any arts class, where you have to perform, like you have to show what you're doing. You can't take a drama class without obviously performing in front of people. You can't be in band or choir and just sing and play an instrument if you never perform for somebody. So visual arts are exactly that same way. And so we have that standard in our actual Minnesota and national standards, so students get an opportunity to display their creative side and actually allow others to see that. So we started toying around with lots of websites, looked at a lot of different formats. What we finally came to the consensus on after I did some trial and error is a Wix site is probably one of the few formats that allows us to have unlimited photos. And that was the key thing that we had to find, because we have hundreds of students that are in our classes. So to be able to really give them the ability to show their creative side, we had to have a platform that would allow us to have hundreds of pieces of artworks.
I think the website looks really good. And most importantly with the art show, I think beyond it being necessary is that kids really like to see each other's work. And they like to have the opportunity to respond to it. And, we talk to them about, there's no wrong reason to like something, and we all have a different taste. And finding ways that we connect to each other through our art is a really valuable experience for them.
The winners for this year's art show are as follows. For painting, the best of show was Emily H. with her Impasto landscape painting. For drawing, the best of show was Lucien K. with his steampunk drawing. For ceramics, the best of show was John H. with his relief tile. For photography, the best of show was Madison M. with her portrait of a bridge. And finally, for the People's Choice, having the most votes in any category was Mason W. with his steampunk drawing.
I couldn't imagine not doing some kind of art show. It would be so sad. They have to celebrate the work that they've done and acknowledge each other.
Instead of an RQT this week, with teachers and students spending time at home, there are some positive moments that have come out of distance learning. We're getting a lot more time with our pets. This week, Jacob Tatley introduces a new segment called Teacher's Pet.
At SFHS Today, we decided to take a deeper look into teachers' pets, not the ones in the classroom. This week, we'll be looking at Miss Eichinger and her dog, Oliver.
Hi, this is Miss Eichinger, and this is my teacher's pet. His name is Oliver, and he is a corgi. He's 3 years old. He's very cute. He likes to chase rabbits and birds, and he's pretty silly. He also loves treats. Do you want a treat?
Now on to sports with Will Klingensmith.
In national sports news, the NBA preseason is beginning. Look for more about that on our website. In state sports, me and Cody are excited to see the Gophers come off the weekend at 8-0 and be #1 ranked team in the country. Back here at home, as sports await new announcements from the governor and the SFHS, we spoke with hockey coach Tyler Schaff and player Ethan Smith about the hockey season.
How will the season be any different with the shortened season and of COVID?
Probably less games, less overall ice time, but I'm hoping that it might get extended out a little bit at the end of the year to make up for some of it, but probably fewer games is the biggest impact and no scrimmages.
Do you think we'll be able to use the boys' locker?
Maybe. I think we'll be able to use it, but just not how we have in the past.
So, what is the outlook for the season looking like so far? Or as of now?
In terms of having one?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty positive right now, more than it's been in a while.
Is there better odds of a state tournament now than there were a month or two ago?
Yes.
And why is that?
Probably just because they know more about COVID and how to do things safely. And also with the fall, it sounds like they wish they would have had some of the fall state tournaments. And I think they want to try to keep that open as much as possible for you guys.
How will this season be different as you being a senior this year and leading this young team as past seniors have been able to play a full 25-game season?
I think it's going to be more difficult because we're not going to be allowed to have team meetings in our locker room like we normally would have to. So you got to try to wrangle kids up and get on Zoom calls, which has kind of been pretty difficult already as it is. And letting them know that we got hockey every day starting now.
The season this year.
I think we will. The Minnesota High School League Board of executives said that they voted 18-0 to start sports as soon as Governor Walz allows us to.
Before we go, Reporter Abby Chalk got into the Christmas spirit and decorated her tree for the upcoming holiday. Here's a time lapse of that transformation. That's all for this week. Stay safe, Saints.